Work management platforms. Ugh, endless onboarding, IT bottlenecks, admin requests. But what if things were different?
We found love in an open space.
Monday.com is different. No lengthy onboarding. Beautiful reports in minutes. Custom workflows you can build on your own. Easy to use prompt-free AI. Turns out you can love a work management platform. Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
She needs to do a podcast since she never got her due. She's a big lesbian and a loudmouth Jew. With a gasket always ready to blow, you're listening to Judy's show. Who? Judy show. Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Oh, she's an asshole. What is wrong with you? Oh, you suck. So long. Fuck off. Hey everyone, welcome to It's Judy's Show with Judy Gold. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and today we have part one of my interview with Chris Grace, who you probably know from Superstore, the show Superstore, but he was also in the show Atypical, which we watched over the pandemic and just loved. And he's a delight. So part one of my interview with him is today. I have a few things to tell you. Number one, I just finished in my first ex-husband. My run was fantastic. Getting to know Susan Lucci, who is a delight and just the loveliest person. I just love her. And Tanya Pinkins, who's a fucking, talent, and Vianne Fox, Cox. I don't know why I said Fox, but Vianne Cox. It was great. Women don't often get to work with each other. And it was just a fantastic experience. Rose Kiola, who is the producer, is just amazing. And it was just, I had a great time. And I wish Joy Behar luck with this. I think it's going to run for a long time. And I think it's going to travel. And it's really relatable. And so if you came, thank you. So I had a wonderful time doing that. What else do I have to say? Oh, this weekend I am in Washington, D.C. at the Comedy Loft, Washington, D.C., March. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. March 27, 28, 29 at the Comedy Loft. One show Thursday, two shows Friday, two shows Saturday. Oh, I'm going to be in Martinsville, New Jersey on April 6th. Very excited about that. For the Jewish Family Service, which is an amazing organization. And then Sellersville, Pennsylvania, April 19. Pittsburgh City Winery in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That is April 25th, Friday night. And then I am in Jersey City on April 26th. So that's that. And other stuff coming up. Boston, Bedford, New York, May 1st. Boston, May 8th. I'm going to be in Toronto, May 17th. I got a lot of shit going on. So that is fantastic, and I love it. So what else did I have to say? I don't know. So come to my shows, please. I need you to come to my shows. I don't even have the bandwidth to talk about what's going on in this world, but it's not great. It's not great. It's just hard. It's hard. And to everyone who says thank you, I love listening to your podcast. I really, really appreciate it. You don't know how much. Sometimes you just feel like you're screaming into a void. But I know how important it is to, feel one way and know that you're supported, that you have some support and that other people are like-minded, and so you don't feel like a crazy person when you read the fucking newspaper or watch. It's hard to watch the news. It's hard. It's really hard. My concern with this sort of state-run media that's kind of happening, and then all these people just caving caving in. It's really hard. And what's going on, you know, in Israel and in Gaza, and just, I want the hostages home. I need those hostages home. I know you do too. I know you all do too. But it's come on already. Let's figure this shit out. But it's so hard. You can't really figure it out when you're dealing with people who just want you dead. That's it. They want you dead. They don't want Israel to exist. They hate the Jews. And they're infiltrating the United States of America. These people, I know, you know, I am all for free speech, but I you know, you come over here and you are anti-American, because that's what Hamas is. It's anti-American and anti-Semitic. And don't come over here and start spreading your bullshit and making people feel unsafe. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I don't go to your country and start protesting and, you know, no. That's not what we're here for. Oh, it's just crazy. It's crazy. And it's crazy, like, you know, hearing people who I don't agree with about anything talk about anti-Semitism, and then I agree with them about that. So it's really hard. So you're not alone. You're not alone. So anyway, let's just enjoy this week's podcast. Just enjoy my conversation. Just get out of your head. You know what I mean? Just think about something else. That's what I've been trying to do, and reading novels. So thank you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy part 1 of my interview with Chris Grace. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, everyone, I'm so excited today. You know, I like interesting people on this podcast. Our guest today has a very interesting life, but also, you know him mostly, I guess. Wait, I have 2 sets of notes here. You probably know him from as Jerry on Superstore, which ran on NBC from 2015 to 2021. And I can't wait to talk about this. He was on a show that I was obsessed with over the pandemic called Atypical.
Ah.
Yes. He's a stand-up. He's a storyteller. He's an actor. And he's one of my favorite things in the entire world. He's Chinese. So, ladies, gentlemen, they, thems, Chris Grace is here.
Thank you so much, Judy. I have been a fan of yours for so long.
Oh, Chris, that's so nice. Because I was like watching interviews with you, and you mentioned all these comics, and I'm like, fuck him.
You know why? Because I'm in LA now, so I don't
know it's very LA.
But I have I wish I could find it somewhere. I have handwritten notes where when I was first starting stand up, and I would go to Eating It at Luna Lounge, and I would make little notes about like all the performers that were there. And one night you were there, and Susie Essman was there too, and the two of you drove away a man in the front row. And I think Susie was the one who, like, the straw that broke the camel's back. But it built up between the two of you, like, doing crowd work with this guy. And then he just, like, stood up and left. It was so funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah, don't sit in the front row of a comedy club if you can't deal with Also,
I just want to tell you that around since then, regularly in my... Like, you know how, like, you see things and you kind of repeat them, you say them a lot sometimes. I have many, many times over the last, decade since then, I will say, like, if someone, like, when a celebrity dies, I'll say, like, one of my cohorts.
Oh, yeah, because my mother, that's right. Oh, I love that. That is Sarah Silverman's favorite joke of mine. Yeah, my mother going, when Frank Sinatra died, another one of my cohorts.
Yeah. And I think the tag was like...
Frank, Sammy, Dean, Ruth.
Yeah. I love that.
I forgot that joke. I'm writing that down. I want to do an album of all my mother jokes.
Yeah.
Chris, you were born Christopher Tongue Shea.
Yes.
Chef?
Chef. Yeah.
Chef.
It's like saying chef without the F.
Right. I did write it out, but then I can't even figure out what the hell I wrote. You were born in Mississippi.
I was.
What are Chinese people doing in Mississippi?
My father was there teaching at Mississippi State University. But since then, I've actually found out there's like a pretty strong history of Chinese people in the Mississippi Delta. That actually, I want to work on something about this. But there's like, you can see footage on YouTube of working class Chinese people that like, they'll run like a little grocery store or something like that.
Right.
And they'll pass it down through generations. And you can see YouTube footage of people that look like my relatives with the strongest Southern Mississippi accents that you've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. When I hear a Jew speak like that, it's the same kind of, I'm like, what? And it's interesting. I did a piece for, was it the Food Network? It was something years ago about why Jews eat Chinese food on Christmas. But also, I don't know if you know this, that Jews and Chinese people were the original like outsiders and usually lived in the same area of town and also had the same values as far as education and family and that kind of stuff. And that's why we have shared this sort of camaraderie or brother sisterhood for so long. So I love Chinese.
Remember, so Ang Lee, who, is a famous director, he was doing these movies that were sort of like family dramas back before he broke in America. So like The Wedding Banquet and Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. And he worked a lot with this screenwriter named James Schamus. And I remember interviews around the time basically saying that like Ang Lee was like, just write it like you would write a Jewish family.
Right.
And the same dynamics for this Chinese family work perfectly.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I did All American Girl with Margaret Cho, which was a Korean family, but, I spent, and I, still have spent, I'm very good friends with B.D. Wong and spent a lot of time with his family. It's so like sitting with my family. It's like exactly food, the kitchen, the arts, just it's amazing. It's just amazing the similarities in the cultures.
I'm amazed because BD Wong is like one of my I don't know if I'd be an actor without BD Wong.
Really?
Yeah, because I watched him when he won for M Butterfly.
Yeah,
and he was just so compelling. Even like when he gave the speech or they did little scenes from M Butterfly, and I remember thinking like, oh, like he can be an actor, like maybe I can too. He was definitely an inspiration. And also,
yeah, of course, because you had finally there was someone that represents you, like that you can,
but also, All American Girl was just like such an example of like how hard it is to move the needle with shows that aren't about like regular white folks,
right.
Like so, I mean, this is completely from the outside, but it seemed like so much pressure was put on that show to like this, it bore so much responsibility to like.
Right. Because it was the first Asian American family on network television, but also because here you have this star, Margaret Cho, and you have this audience, which is, they're trying to reach middle America. And, we would get the scripts and be like, what the fuck? It's so milquetoast. Mm-hmm. And here you have this amazing character and it was, we're all still really close friends. So it was one of the greatest experiences in that sense, but it was soul crushing when you read the scripts, and it wasn't.
Was that a situation where they set it up with a different like Margaret was not obviously like the showrunner? Like,
it was
they brought in like a
it was
veteran.
Gary Jacobs was sort of the showrunner, I guess EP, head writer, whatever. And the network notes were always about, stereotypical shit, scratching the surface and not truly the struggles of an Asian American family in this country in the 90s. It was very frustrating.
It's such a bummer because I feel like Roseanne tapped that, like,
yes.
Oh, this is about like the working class and
right.
And they're making jokes that they would make. They like bust
right.
each other's balls in ways that are like authentic. And I mean, huge success and people identified with it.
Right. And it was edgy because it was about the white middle America. And it was they were like, oh, they can handle this. But it was like, this was like the introduction of here's a typical Asian American family. Yeah. They didn't let her be her. And
it's like, why hire someone and then try to fit them into something else, you know?
But look at her now. Yeah.
But yeah, that's incredible. You're like, you're connected to two of the main reasons that I'm like where I am now.
And they're the best.
From ADT comes Trusted Neighbor, the new standard in home access. Through the ADT Plus app, easily grant and automate event-based or scheduled access for neighbors, friends, and helpers. Notify trusted individuals of events like alarms or packages, and set access windows for planned guests or even the dog walker without interrupting your day. Visit ADT.com. When every second counts, count on ADT. Requires ADT Complete Pro monitoring plan and compatible devices. Copyright 2025 ADT LLC. All rights reserved.
Okay, can we talk about every time I see you on an interview, you have the Rethinking Diabetes book in the background?
The producer also said this. I have not curated my background, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I haven't set it up to be, these are just the books I have.
Right. Have you been rethinking diabetes?
I will just say, this is a fascinating book. I drove around. Yeah. It's about the history of the, like, discovering it, early theories on what it was. It's very dry, and it's just like a diagnostic history of like different attempts to treat it over the years. And it's one of those things where like it's fascinating because early on they were like, hey, maybe you should cut carbs. And then they were like, no, definitely not. Don't cut. Like they've gone through many cycles where they're like, no, you should eat lots of complex carbohydrates and grains. And then later there's some, vanguard crazy scientist that's like, no, don't do that. Like, it's fascinating to read. I'm hoping
I love how you just moved your camera a little bit.
No, this camera. Wait, watch.
Yeah, there it is.
No, it follows me.
I love that.
So I hope by the time I finish reading it, it cures my diabetes. That's the.
Do you have what kind of diabetes do you have?
I have type 2.
What is the difference between the two?
Type 1 is the one that you get as a kid.
Right, that's right.
And people can't blame you for getting type 1. Type 2, people can say it's your fault because you're fat.
Yeah, but now you can go on Ozempic.
I know. I'm on Mounjaro.
I did Mounjaro.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's great. Have you lost weight?
I've lost some weight. I also I don't have any side effects from it. So I'm just like,
I know. I didn't either.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? I just had to get over the
pounds. Shot. Yeah.
I don't know how you were with the shot. It's at first slightly intimidating.
Oh, I don't care because no. Once you give birth, it's like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
You know? So you were born in Mississippi, but you grew up in Texas. Did your father have to move for another job?
Yeah, basically we moved to North Carolina and then to Texas, all just around his. He was a nuclear engineer, so he would.
Wow, so he was an idiot. Yeah. So was Jimmy Carter.
Yes. Wait, why did I know that? I don't know. Jimmy Carter did loom large in our lives back then. Remember Billy Carter?
Oh, I do. Yeah, remember?
Billy Carter was such a character, and he had his own beer.
Yeah. And it was like Clinton had the brother, too, that was a ne'er-do-well.
Yeah.
Also, I should ask you, how are you doing? What part of LA are you in?
I'm in Koreatown, so we're relatively safe from the fires. And it's funny because I was in Washington, D.C. last week, and my husband was here, and he was, for one day they got this like fake evacuation
Yeah.
warning. So, he was worried about, there was this like Runyon Canyon fire. Was it going to come down into the city? And I just told him, like, there's no way our place is going to burn down. And the reason I know why, because between that Sunset Fire and our house is a Target, and they will move heaven and earth to protect that
to
Target.
save that Target.
There's no way that Target's burning down.
God, what's my favorite sushi place in Koreatown that, oh God, what the fuck? It's on the corner. It's called.
Ooh, I want to know.
Oh God, fuck. Damn it. Oh my God. I used to go there like twice a week. It was so good. I'll figure it out. So you grew up in Houston, knew you were gay.
Yes.
Didn't tell anyone.
I told people in college, sophomore year. Yeah. I wrote my whole family. Each one got an individual letter.
Really?
Yeah.
And what was the reaction?
Everybody reacted great except my dad. My dad, he sent back a letter saying it was okay. And then like a week later sent a letter saying all these reasons why it was not okay.
Which is so interesting if you're a scientist.
Mm.
Was he religious?
No, he actually took this position of scientifically being gay is wrong because it doesn't. If everybody was gay, the human race would go extinct. And I was just like, so what? I don't care.
And no, it wouldn't, because.
But also, whenever people make like procreation things about, I'm just like, so what? Who cares?
Right.
Like there's a movie called Children of Men, which I love. But like in Children of Men, one of the premises like no one can have new children. Like there's no babies being born.
Right.
And I'm just like, great. Like, what's the downside of this?
Like we've already ruined.
Yeah.
The world's coming to an end.
Yeah, we're good. Plus, like, we have plenty of people,
Yeah, we have a lot of people. I would agree with that. You took your mother, so you're named Chris Grace because you took your mother's name because she was so supportive.
Yeah.
Of you, which I love. Did they have a good marriage? What was terrible?
They were, I actually never knew them when they got along. Like I never saw that once.
Wow.
So they were already, they just stayed together. Legally, they stayed together until I went to college. I was the youngest kid. And they physically separated when I was in like freshman in high school. My dad got a job. We were in Houston and he got a job at a different nuclear power plant in South Carolina and moved and was basically like, hey, I'm moving to South Carolina. Does anyone want to move with me? And we were all like, it was just me and my brother at home at that point. We were like, no, we'll stay here. We'll stay in Houston.
Wow.
I mean, the offer was, do you want to move to Aiken, South Carolina?
No.
Which has like a population of like 1,500 or something like that.
Oh God, forget it.
Yeah.
Wow. You went to University of North Carolina School of the Arts, which is a great school.
Yes.
You got a BFA in drama. Was your father, I mean, at this point, are you not talking to your father? Because I know you didn't talk to him for like 19 years or something.
Yes. No, in college I was, because I was going to school in North Carolina and he lived in South Carolina.
South Carolina, right.
So he would come up sometimes and yeah, he was sort of like helping. I mean, he was helping me pay for the college too. And then around junior or senior year, I ended up with a boyfriend in Houston, sort of long distance. And around that time, my dad said, like, don't mention him in our conversations.
Oh.
And that was what spurred he was like, if you want to talk, please don't mention him. And so that was like, I was very stubborn. I still am a stubborn person. I was just like, okay, well, I'm not going to talk to you at all.
Right.
And so
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So that's what
Yeah.
stretched into the 19 years.
Do you think that your parents not getting along or, but yet remaining in this relationship, how do you think that affects your relationship with your husband?
I think that it would take a lot for us to get divorced. Like, I have a very high threshold for like actually I have a high threshold for breaking up in previous relationships too.
Right.
So let's see, I'm 51 and I've had one, two, three, basically 4 relationships. And they were all like the first one only ended because like I moved away. The second
Right.
one went like 8 years or something like that. The third one went 14 years. And then this one's been going like I'm definitely in it for the long haul. My first I just found out my first boyfriend died like last year and had become a born again Christian preacher with a wife and kids.
No fucking way.
Yeah, it was interesting.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful. How did he die?
I don't know. Although he did have some like he did have some stomach ulcerative type issues
all
when
right.
we dated. So
That's terrible.
yeah.
I mean, why do these people do that? Like, why would you? Whatever. I do not get the religion. What is that? Oh God, Henry, no. Bye now. That's my son. I don't understand the FaceTiming thing. Do you?
Yeah.
First
why?
of all, I'm from the generation where you call people, right?
Yes. Which below me, even like millennials don't like it, and below that, they just like they think it's like an egregious offense to even call someone.
Right. So now you can't call anyone without a warning.
Yeah, you gotta
like,
text them first.
Hey, is it okay if I call you?
Right.
And I tell people, we used to pick up the phone. We didn't know who the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Also,
it was kind of exciting.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, you would say to someone, meet me Thursday night at 7:30 at the diner. Right?
Yes.
And then that was it. That was the end of the conversation.
Right.
And Thursday came and you went to the diner. There was no like, still on for the diner? Are we still blah, 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 blah? Oh, I don't feel, like what this, yeah. Okay. Hey everyone, I have a new sponsor, Rula, R-U-L-A, and I love them. As you know, I am a huge advocate for mental health, and I think therapy is a must for 99.9% of the population, and that's where Rula comes in. A lot of people don't go to therapy because they think it's expensive, it's hard to find a therapist. Rula patients typically pay $15 per session when using insurance. They connect you with quality therapists, mental health experts who specialize in you, in YOU. Rula will help you find the right therapist. They partner with a network of over 10,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide, enabling you to find your personalized solution to the right therapist for you. That is so important. It's based on your needs, your preferences, and your state requirements. Telehealth is major right now. You do not have to leave your private space, your personal space, to go to therapy. And Rula is committed to see you succeed in reaching your therapy goals. And they make sure their providers are carefully screened and vetted. And that's exactly what you want. They monitor the quality of their care and they help you monitor your progress in therapy. It's a win-win for everyone. So, what are you going to do? It's very important, I'm telling you. With everything that's going on in this world right now, it's time to process with a therapist. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/Judy. That's RULA.com/JUDY to get started today. After you sign up, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please, 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 please support our show and tell them that our show sent you. Go to RULA.com/Judy, JUDY, and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. You're welcome. So your family is fucked up. You have two sisters. They're gone now, right?
Oh, no, one of my sisters is still alive. Yes.
One is still alive. Wait, how many kids in the whole family? 5?
4 kids.
4.
My sister and my brother died.
Oh, your sister and your brother died. I thought 2 sisters died. Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting to that at the end because it's so fucking sad. Okay. So you come to New York City after you become you came to become a professional actor, comedian.
Mm-hmm.
But for the very beginning of your career, you just did commercials.
Yeah. Like that was my actual like making money part was although I did have an early run at stand-up that ended at Lesbian Pride in Brooklyn.
What happened?
So I did, if you're in New York in that time period, a lot of people started stand-up by taking Judy Carter's class.
Oh,
At Gotham. So then I actually did stand-up for like a while and it was going pretty well. And then I got my first paid gig doing stand-up at Lesbian Pride in Brooklyn at some bar. And it was such a rough experience that like it was one of those sets where you're just like, where you're going on a grind, you're doing sets and sets and sets, and then you have a really rough set and you're like, the next week you're like, I guess I'm not going to do it this week. And then that turned into like 18 months of like not doing it because you lose that momentum.
Right.
And the set was rough just because like...
well, first of all, lesbians, not the best sense of humor. Okay, so let's just start with that. Okay. And it's this very specific sort of group and you're a gay guy and yeah. But I never... interestingly enough, after a bad set, had this like, okay, I'm not going to do. I never thought that. I thought I got to get right back up there.
That's great.
It's like I mean, you could call it an addiction, but it's also, I think, what I was meant to do, like that. None of that ever it did affect me, but not to the point where I was like, all right, no, but you had an acting degree. So you knew you had other options. Yeah.
But it's like there is a part of me that's always been like, oh, I really want to like, I want to, and I still feel this, that I want to be able to like just book stand up and like to feel as good at stand up as I feel at other things. And there were moments like that throughout my stand up career where like I just got like knocked off course in a way. And I did get distracted by like acting and doing improv and that. And if you're doing improv at the same time as you do something like that and you get knocked off a little bit, if the next week there's like I could go do go do an open mic, at Stand Up New York or whatever, or I can go to this improv rehearsal with like 7 friends,
right?
And then we all go out to eat dinner afterwards and hang out. It's like, and I will say that when I was starting stand up, for whatever reason, I never clicked with like a social group of like, how you get that crew of people.
Yeah, you have a little clique. You're in a little clique, or your class. That's your class that you started with. Yeah.
So I have a class of stand-ups that I started with, but I didn't click with them enough socially to get to have that like. And it's not like you should have it without that, right? But I have just observed that a lot of people have like, oh, I came up with these like 5 people, and that's someone I would complain to if a set went bad, and then they'd say like, come on, we got to go do a set. Like there is a little bit of social glue that like keeps some like little pods of stand-ups going for a while. And I like never found that. Like I might have only found that like 3 years ago,
Right.
So that was just interesting. Like and I think part of it was like, it was a bunch of straight dudes.
Yeah.
know.
What year are we talking?
This is like 98 to 2002 or so.
Right.
This is like mostly like Gotham Comedy Club, Comics on the West Side.
Oh yeah, I remember Comics on 14th Street.
These are the kind of places. So like this is before the Stand opened up, and I don't know if it's still there. Eastville, does that still exist?
Yeah, but it's in Brooklyn now, and
Okay.
that club is now New York Comedy Club.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean Caroline's Stand Up New York.
Yeah. I mean, this was also around the time of. This is around the time of like Jessica Curson calling everybody that I knew to be like, come to Caroline's, bring 20 people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I did it as a stand-up. My sketch comedy group did it. We all went through this Caroline's mill of come do a show at Caroline's, bring 20 people, and this is going to be your break into the business. And then like you do the set, and then like you just never hear from Caroline's.
Right. You know, this whole idea, I don't think people realized, you know, when I started in the 80s, there were so many places to do stand-up. There were open mics, there were bars that were doing happy hour. You know, I got a lot of stage time, didn't get paid, of course, but, you know, there were places to go. And now they require new comedians to bring people because they can't get people into the shows. And it's suffer. I mean, it's when I hear these stories about how hard it is to get stage time, and the only way to get better is through stage time. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. And you were lucky you were doing it before social media.
Yeah, you mean because there's not a visual record of like our first 5 years of doing it.
And also now we have people who do a funny video who are getting, you know, taking the work away from the seasoned comics, and they don't even know what the fuck they're doing on stage. I say this all the time on my podcast that, you know, it takes so many years and you have to be relentless to become a decent stand-up. 10 to 15 years to know what the fuck you're doing on that stage. And yet everyone thinks they can do stand-up. Like Stormy Daniels, I think I'll go do stand-up. But someone funny on the internet, I think I'll go do stand-up. And, you know, then people leave that show going, ew, I thought, you know, I thought that this person, it's
How
hard.
do you feel about, I feel like if someone blows up on TikTok that isn't a stand-up, like, or
Right.
like stand-up adjacent, let's say, or maybe
Right.
they're more a comedy creator on TikTok. They are funny, but they sort of make sketches and stuff, right? How do you feel about like, they can book a show and they can probably do a decent show for the people that are like their dedicated fans? Because like a third of the show is like, we're just going to show the viral videos that you guys love so much, and then we'll do a Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
Versus they definitely don't have the skills to do a show for like a completely generic audience that doesn't know them.
Right.
But does that matter if they can book shows that are just their fans, you know?
I don't, I think I mean, I'm an old fashioned and I think it's a craft and you should be able to go into it, you know, performing for people who are just your fans. That's not developing as a stand. It's like, here, let me show you why you like me. And then we're going to do some questions. That's not stand up. That's not stand up comedy. It might be a live show, but no, don't call it stand up. You know how long it takes to develop an hour? All these people now are like, oh, I'm working on my new hour. I'm like, you've been doing stand up for 4 years. Like, you shouldn't even have your first hour done yet. I don't know.
Well, I think people got, they were definitely influenced by Louis C.K., right? Like the rate that he started putting specials out. And then.
But he was on stage doing the work. Yeah. You know?
Well, I always envied people like from that group where they always talk about how like I just remember an interview with Louis C.K. where he was like, oh yeah, I don't write anything down on paper. I just write on stage. You know, I walk up with a word written on a note card and then I just talk it out and stuff. And I just remember thinking like, wow, it must be great to be able to like just on a whim in front of a like paying audience have like 15 minutes to just work out material. Like that sounds great. Like I would love to be able to. I do that.
Like, that's what we all did. I still do that. I did that last night at the Cellar. I was like, listen, I have this joke, and then it didn't work, and I'm like, okay, do you think it'll work? Well, I am like, do you think it'll work? Why didn't you laugh at that? I mean, but that's my
Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean,
general-
I love that. Like when I've gone to the cellar, I don't, but I mean, I think there are growing people. There's a growing group of people that are like genuine comedy fans, where it's like, I actually don't need to see your super polished version of that joke. I love seeing you work on it, right? Some people like that.
those are true stand-up fans. Like that you go to I mean, if you're going to go to a showcase club like the Cellar, you have to expect that that's where everyone is creating shit. You know, we're all doing 10, 15 minutes, but I get that if you paid a lot of money to see someone in a theater, they should have their finished product there. But yes, if you're going to comedy clubs in New York or Chicago or LA or wherever, there's a big comedy town and you're seeing a showcase of people doing 10, 15 minutes, that we can't do our job without the audience. Like that's a part of the creative process. And you should be grateful and feel good that you're so important and such a big part of that, creative process and finding out where the line is and all that. That's how I think people need to think about it when they go to clubs in New York City.
So I have a question for you. Have you seen Josh Johnson?
Mm-mm.
So Josh Johnson, I think writes and performs for The Daily Show, but he's incredible. So he is putting out on YouTube, like once a month, a 40-minute to an hour-long YouTube video of a set of comedy about something relatively topical.
Right.
And it's like basically like putting out a special a month. It's
wow.
crazy. And it's very like intimidating but I mean, it's genuinely interesting and cool. But what I find fascinating is now he's touring and this is what he does on tour. And so I'm fascinated by he has cultivated or trained his audience at like regular comedy clubs where he gets up and does like a 45-minute set about a topic.
Wow.
And what's interesting is it does harken back to like I'm for some reason I'm only mentioning problematic comics, but like when I would see Bill Cosby do sets where in some of these Josh Johnson sets, it'll be like 9 minutes before the first laugh. But then it's like got this build, like the audiences are patient with it and it is worth it. Like they're really good sets, but I'm fascinated like how he got to that point to be able to like create the environment where he can do a longer form thing and doesn't feel the need to like.
But I don't call that stand-up comedy. I would call that more of stand-up comedy is like, it's about the laughs.
Yeah. He gets
but
good
9
laughs.
minutes.
I mean, I would watch it. Like I would call it stand-up, just the way the relationship with what he's talking about, the way he's talking about it with the crowd there feels like stand-up. Right. It's just he like really takes his time and like it's amazing to me like that.
That's interesting. I mean, you can't do that in a club. I mean, you can't do that at the Cellar. They'd be like, they'd
be like, you'd be getting the light as your setup finishes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't do that in certain circumstances.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's worth checking out for sure.
Thank you so much for listening to part one of my interview with Chris Grace, who is just delightful. This podcast is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling, marketed by Haley Dercher, and the theme song written by Lauren Gold, my pal. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Again, if you are in the DC area, I will be in DC this weekend, March 27, 28, 29. And then I'm going to be in Martinsville, New Jersey on April, what is that? It's a Sunday, April 6th. And, I'm in Boca Raton, Florida. I can't believe I forgot to tell you this. April 9 and 10, Boca Raton, Florida, which I love, with my friend Rich Voss. It's going to be great. And Sellersville, Pennsylvania, April 19. So get your tickets. Go to my website, judygold.com. Go follow me on Instagram. That's the one I pay the most attention to, Instagram. At Judy Gold, JEWDYGOLD. And, I'm on all the other ones too. It's just a pain in the ass. And that's it. Thank you again for listening. I love you all. And as we always say, so long.
Life sure doesn't come with a roadmap, but what if you had a guide? I'm Tamsin, and on The Tamsin Show, I'm here to help you navigate midlife, menopause, career shifts, and everything in between. Like a best friend or a big sister who's been there, with expert guests, real conversations, and actionable advice. This is your go-to podcast for living better, loving stronger, and taking charge of your well-being. Listen to The Tamsin Show wherever you get your podcasts, because it's time to own it.